Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, one third of outstanding personal relationships and co author of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. Now, I do have one, y'all. I got to show it to you. For those of you, I don't want to be so arrogant as to think that everybody has our book, but if you don't have it, you're going to want to get it. If you do have it, let me know what you love most about it. So you want to get and grab your book at Let's Talk Polygamy.com for details. Now, in this live YouTube video, now I wanted to pop into here because I was thinking about something, and it's something that a lot of wives do. Now, this can happen to an initial wife or a subsequent wife, um, or wives. Now, what it is gatekeeping our husbands. Gatekeeping your husband doesn't do you any good. Now, if you are new here, again, I'm Coach Fatima. And before I begin, I want you to comment, like, and subscribe and share this video because sharing is caring. I want to shout out my awesome husband, Coach Nazir, my amazing co-wife, Coach Nyla, who are not with me right now, but they are here in my heart always. And my family, y'all. Everybody kind of looks at Team OPR and they go, it's just business, it's fake, or whatever the case may be. We're family first before anything. So let's just get that out of the way first and foremost. But I digress. I want you to make sure that you like and subscribe. I'm going to put that at the bottom of my screen, like a comment, subscribe, share this video because sharing is caring. You're going to want to hit that notification bell because you're going to want to know when we upload. We have so much information on YouTube, and so many of your questions will be answered here. So just look around our channel, and I want to invite and encourage everyone, watch all the videos, y'all. Don't just discriminate because sometimes that can happen. Sometimes you want to just, initial wives want to just watch my videos, or subsequent wives want to just watch Coach Nyla's videos. I'm telling you, we'll get clarity across the board if you watch all of them, even Coach Nazir's videos. I know oftentimes we'll think they're just for the guys, and they're really not. They're just here to help everyone who's willing to listen and ultimately do their work. Now, if you're already there yourself, I'm so proud of you. I really am, because this is not easy, but it is not the most difficult thing you're going to ever do. It doesn't have to be horrible. We attribute ease with lack of challenge. You're going to have challenge because life is life, and life is always going to life. That means you're going to be met with challenges, and you're going to go in and out of happiness. One of the things that makes wives unhappy is their husband bringing up polygyny, and we think that we can hold on really tightly to our husbands, and then you know they won't practice polygyny, aka gatekeeping. I'm going to go to the comments. If you have a comment, or a question, I should say, put question marks in front of the question so that I can get there and answer them to the best of my knowledge as a coach, wife, and co-wife. But yes, we're going to talk about gatekeeping your husband and how that is harmful to your marriage. Now, we don't think it is because oftentimes we don't know we're doing it. We build this dream in our head, and we expect our husbands to live in that dream and not have a say and not have a voice and not change their minds. We think they'll never change their minds. We think they will never, ever entertain polygyny because that's the dream that we have for the family, for ourselves. And then we expect our husbands to come over here and live in that and facilitate it and fix it if something goes wrong and be perfect and never change and always want us around them all the time. And we always want their undivided attention. And they never have space in their hearts for anyone else. They do. They do. Because think about it. Think about it for a second. Let's sit in it. Let's go there. We're sharing our husbands with the world. So we're sharing them with many different people who have different kinds of relationships with them, whether it be their parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, children, their children, cousins, business associates, brothers at the masjid, and maybe you all belong to a church, got responsibilities there, associates, people that just met them or know their work, business connections, right? So they're always in or taking care of people in different relationships that we have. So we are sharing them. We are, whether we want to or not. Some women don't want to share them with anybody. They want them right here, because if you're right here, then I can control what you do. And I can control the input and output. Newsflash, we can only control ourselves. That's it. Because I was speaking about this earlier, and I said a lot of women are signing up to mother their husbands, but not sit and embrace wifehood. Because a mother can use her voice to control and her influence to control the child. Our husbands are adults. They're already grown. They already are. And we can't change that. And no amount of complaining, or in some cases gaslighting, accusing them, is going to change that. Or looking at the man before you, who's showing you everything that he is, and then you're saying, no, you don't want polygyny. That's not what you want. And he's looking you right in your face and telling you that's what he wants to do. It doesn't mean he's rude about it. It doesn't mean he's dismissive about it. He might want to have a conversation with you and you're not willing. I wasn't. And we really didn't have a conversation about it. It was like little hints, and we joked and things like that. And I did not like that, because in my mind, this is the dream I had when I was playing with my dollhouse now. And he's supposed to come over to here and he's supposed to hook that up. He was supposed to be that man that I dreamed of. Sometimes the man you dream of is not the man you need. And I learned that very quickly. Because the man of my dreams is a little bit too soft than what I need in my reality. The man of my dreams was letting me run the show. And then I found out very quickly as a young wife, I didn't want that job. I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to be the leadership in the family. I don't want that. I don't want a wife. I want a husband. I say it all the time because I mean it all the time. I don't want a wife. That's why I married a man, a husband. Right? And I didn't come over to marriage to get divorced, and neither did he. See, in many cases, women will throw that out there when their husband even thinks of or hints to being polygyny. Now, you might have your reasons why. Maybe he's not fit for monogamy. Maybe he's just a mess like that. However, good men that are good at monogamy, in many cases, want to practice polygyny. All men aren't qualified. All men aren't straight. All men don't want it. All men don't need it. All men need to get somewhere and sit down because they're in love with the idea, not the lifestyle. Don't get me started. I'm speaking to the men that are willing to look inward and say, what do I need to become to have more? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? What kind of man do I need to grow into being or becoming? What conversations do I need to have? Is it okay for me to be vulnerable? Or has my wife shown me that that's not a safe environment? Me being vulnerable is not safe for me mentally. We got to think about their mental health too. If you have a son, I've had a few, and I have a few bonus sons. Think about that. Will they grow up to be men that might have to deal with and battle their wives and think about mental health and their own wellness just for opening their mouth, just for opening a conversation about polygyny? Is it a safe space or is it not? Let me tell you something really quickly. If we don't have the conversation, if we shut them down every time they open their mouths, ultimately they will end up resenting us. Especially if they're Muslim and they're allowed to have up to 4. and we shut them down on something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they can do. That's a right. Now, of course, there are conditions to that right. They pretty much, typically the men will study and they'll learn about what that is. I had my head in the sand because I said, well, now I know he can do it, but I hope he doesn't. And he'll tell me if he does. Wrong. All that stuff happened differently than I ever thought it would. And I was not the person that he could even approach with it because I was married so young. I didn't understand that. And then part of me was going, do you want to? Like, I understand it in the realm of Islam, but putting it in my life was different, because then it meant in my situation, I had given this polygyny this power that it never had. Okay, so my husband didn't get in polygyny to get to experience a divorce with me. Okay, he didn't get married to me to get divorced, and I didn't do that either. But the women are the one that usually are the ones that throw that out there because they're hurting. That doesn't make it right, though. It doesn't help. So gatekeeping our husband won't do you any good, because he will end up resenting you ultimately. But there's so many things that have to happen before resentment settles in. Okay? So understanding that our husbands don't want our attention all the time. They don't. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They don't want us up under them all the time. They got to be able to move. They got to be able to grow and wiggle and create and lead and learn. And they cannot do that if we're so clingy. And if they really want to practice polygyny, they have to make a decision to have some space from us so that they can facilitate what needs to be done with additional wives and family. They have to have room to breathe. They have to have room to go. I don't tell Coach Nyla, let's use me for an example. When he's here, okay, and my husband all the time, whether he's standing right in front of me or not. Isn't that awesome? And guess what else? I'm his wife all the time, and he's not here right now. I'm still his wife, though, right? He's still my husband, right? But what I had to understand was that he has to have room to do what he needs to do for everyone's well-being in this family, including his own. He's allowed to take care of his well-being, and he does not get permission from me to do so. I don't give him permission to breathe, to use the bathroom, to pray, to fast, to spend money, to hug his children, to kiss his wife, and do anything else with her. It's his wife. And nobody comes over to here and gives us permission to do anything. Nobody wants that job. He's an adult. He had parents. His mother is still on this earth. His father passed away. May Allah grant him Jannah. May they be reunited with his brother in Allah's Jannah. Right? Okay. Needs space. Right. Everyone needs space. I need space from him. He knows that. And I love the fact that co-wife's an introvert, my husband's an introvert, our husband's an introvert. Majority of the children I gave birth to are introverts. They know how to leave people alone. They know how to give you space because guess what? They want theirs. I'm in between both. I come off very much an extrovert, but I have introvert tendencies. Does that make sense? I know how to be by myself. I know how to take care of me. I know how to make myself happy. But I knew how to make myself unhappy too. Thoughts are things. So the quality of the question is going to gauge the outcome. So if we sit here as initial wives or subsequent wives, we don't discriminate, we educate, and say, this is never going to work. Instead of saying, how can we make this work? You see how you're empowered with the second question, but not the first one? Yeah. Because see, a lot of what we do as initial wives, or again, as wives, because this can happen to subsequent wives too. I don't never want to leave them out in the cold. The world's trying to do enough of that. I don't need help. Okay. What we do is we dim our light and we stop our shine and we forget who we are and we forget that we came in this world singular, unless you got a twin. You came here as one soul. You didn't come here with your husband, and you won't leave with him. He's an individual. So there has to be space for him to lead. And a lot of us want to step in a position of leadership instead of using healthy influence and support and feedback to help the leader. I don't want to be the leader. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey. I don't want the job, the responsibility. See, we think we want it and we don't. We think our husbands get into polygyny, marry again to fix what's going on over here in our marriages. And a lot of the damage was done long before polygyny. Let's remember that. So let's not blame polygyny for whatever damage is happening here. However, the people that practice it, whether that be the husband, the wife, or wives, let's look inside and see if we're part of the problem and not the solution. I'm dead serious. I will sit and watch, and I've coached women who had to get out of their own way. I had to get out of my own way. I wasn't born a coach. I had to learn what my crap was and fix that. Because if Coach Nazir could fix it, he would have. Just for peace sake, just for some quiet, just for some solitude, he would have fixed that. He couldn't. I had to blame me, look at me, and decide, did I want to stay stuck in this position of pain, or get to producing some positive outcomes? It was all on my shoulders. He was willing to meet me halfway. He had to learn and grow and get and turn, I love saying this because I mean it, turn the losses into lessons. But I couldn't sit up and tell everybody to do better and y'all hurt me and y'all did it. No. Because much of what I experienced was self-inflicted on my part. Because I was telling myself and assuming and, and this is 15 years, you all, in polygyny. So please don't compare, your first day or your first year, first few years with our 15. We had a lot of growing and maturing to do. But I'm a living testament that if you want to do the work, you will. And the work means a lot of looking inward and not outside of you. Okay, I'm not talking about these extreme cases where some men are picking women like apples from a tree and then just leaving kids everywhere. I'm not talking to them. Okay? So, resentment, and our husbands don't want to give us all their undivided attention. They can't breathe that way. They can't grow that way. Yes, and working together as a unit, if you can. Some women, some wives I've seen, I swear I've seen this with my own two eyes. You get them in a room together, it's like cats and dogs. They're ready for each other. You could just see it. And I've told many, don't do that. You'll be in the masjid ready to go at each other. Don't do that. Don't start. This is not time for us to throw tantrums. It's not. Our husbands are adults. So, and let's not underestimate the space that a man has in his heart. Speaking of space, careful with that. Don't accuse them of having a small heart, because a lot of men have such a big heart. And I love what we do here at OPR with this example. If you think about having children, anybody, and you don't have to be a parent to get what I'm about to say. If you have a child and you have another child, you don't stop loving this first child any less. And then if you have a third child, you don't stop loving the second one any less. You have love for all of them. You don't say, well, I have love for this one because this one's been with me longer. Men don't measure love that way. People typically do not measure love that way. I had that all the way screwed up. I'm like, I've been here a long time. Probably loves me more. And he was like, he was like, nope, it doesn't work that way. It's love. I love my wives. The men do not introduce wives and go, this is Coach Fatimah, and I love her this much. And this is Coach Nyla, my wife, and I love her this much. They don't introduce us like that. Not always. And can put money on, although I'm not a gambling woman, on Coach Nazir saying these are my wives. We don't get this big old giant introduction. No, we don't. And if we do, we're giving it on YouTube. I'm his wife, Coach Fatimah. And she says, I'm Coach Nyla. I'm also his wife. Oh, I know our lines. So you see? So that's what's interesting. And on YouTube, especially, the people get all upset in the comments. The people meaning the wives. The women, they all get upset. They get so mad at us. And a lot of it is the optics of seeing Coach Nazir sit in between two really cool looking women. You know? Shout out to my co-wife, Coach Nyla, two women that love him very deeply. They get mad and we be at home sleep down there, having dinner, having game night with our massive unit of a family, having a ball, and people be fighting us in the comments. It's still going to continue because we decided that we wanted to practice this in a healthy way. And polygyny is not just happening to us, it's happening to our children who will grow up to be adults, inshallah, God willing. And they will remember how the three parents took care of this family together. And I say, y'all screwed that all the way up. No wonder we're such a mess. You never thought of us. Whatever we do, it's for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever we do for our children, whatever sacrifices we have made, whether you see them or not, is for our family. And it's also to help educate other families so that they do not end up shattered and broken. Okay? So that's important to say. Whether somebody understands it or not. Like I can say it, but I can't understand it for someone else that is hell-bent on not having any understanding. Understanding, or the desire to understand, is a very mature step to take. And some people are just not there. They just don't want to understand. And that's fine. But I don't lose sleep when they want to act ignorant in the comments. Be in there, I'll be killing myself laughing later, watching something with my husband. And I pray he does the same with my co-wife. I know he does. Okay? So if somebody doesn't understand it, bless your little old heart. Now, I have notes in front of me. So another thing is that if we're not careful about gatekeeping our husbands, our marriage will sustain damage. In some cases, damage is permanent, and then you have to make the ultimate decision. A lot of men are not going to deal with a funky attitude and keep dealing with that. They'll take a lot, maybe, before they decide, well, you know what, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Let me go back and be in monogamy, or let me take some time to heal and continue to practice polygyny. Maybe not with you, but because so many women have threatened men to take their children, and I know they're hurting, and it's the first thing that's thrown out there. Divorce you, I'll take the kids. Da, 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 da. How dare you? They're not just your kids. Because if he said that to you, you would feel away. And that would be very upset and angry. And gatekeeping our husband from the world, from other women that might look at him or desire him, does not work. Can't be with him everywhere. Women are going to look at a good looking man. It might not look long, but they're going to look at what's beautiful. Just like men look at what's beautiful, but it's with a different desire, because we're not men, we're women. So it's different for us, right? So the lifestyle that we lead in polygyny is different. So I don't lead my life as Coach Nazir, as a man that's a father of 10 and has 2 bonus children. I wouldn't know what to do with it. No, I wouldn't know what to do. I live my life as a wife that has 7 children and 5 bonus children. And I love making sure we're all okay. And if they need me, they know where to find me. And I can support and offer healthy influence and offer feedback and ideas to the leader. And we bounce it back and forth. It's up to him what he's going to ultimately do and how he's going to lead. It's not a secret to us. We get updates. We all work together. But it has a lot to do with our children, and we all have a common goal in taking care of our family and turning our losses into lessons and celebrating our triumphs. I'm so proud of the family that I'm in, and alhamdulillah, because we're all continuing to do the work. We're all as teachable and coachable as any family can get. We all love each other. We all support each other. Did we start out that way? We had the same common goals as Muslims, but it just wasn't easy at first because we're all trying to figure it out. People think that men that practice polygyny should have it all figured out. Look at a bike you never rode before and ride it. Don't fall, keep your balance, stay on. That's how silly people sound when they think that men should have it all figured out before they do it. Newsflash. Name something that's challenging that you have all figured out by looking at it and never touching it, never trying it, not having any guidance, going through it, no manual. You don't know how the thing is put together. You don't know anything. You're just supposed to just perfect it. He didn't perfect it in monogamy. Neither did you. So how is he going to go over to polygyny, have it all figured out? But then we'll sit there and go, well, it's okay. You don't have to have it figured out in monogamy because that's monogamy. But over in polygyny, you better have it perfect. That's not how the world works. That's not how it works. So let's be careful and let's be mindful and let's understand that we have work to do too. And I'm sure our husbands could say a lot about us and our behavior, because when we get over here and do videos and then people complain about content, we don't mind. However, the people that complain are usually, and the majority, is women and wives that are women. So we talk about much to do with how women feel and what the logic is and what the best practices for best results are, what your triumphs and your challenges might be, how to identify. It's a place to get education and have an open, prayerfully conversation that is mature about polygyny. And if it doesn't apply to you, and if you don't like it, I love what Coach Nyla says. You chose to be here, and you could choose to not be here, or choose to get blocked from here. I mean, let's just be clear on it, because this information is for those that want it, that need it, that want a support system, and maybe the YouTubes and the internets and the interweb of it all is not a nice place, but the world is not a nice place. So expectation that everybody's going to agree with us, we don't have that. Expectation that everybody's going to like us, we don't have that either. We came right on to here knowing that everybody, I'm a black woman. I am a black woman. I know full well, and this world has taught me that I am disliked by few people. I can't focus on that. I got to go over here to the people that want to talk and listen and learn. That's how I operate. That's how my family operates. That's how OPR operates. We're talking to the people that want to listen and learn, that need to help, that want to keep their families together. And maybe that doesn't work all the time where you can keep your family together. But we're going to try some things before we get over to that divorce if it's needed. Sometimes we want to give up so easily because it's easy to give up. But I didn't come this far and fight like a dog for my family to let somebody, a little mean comment, get under my skin, honey. They're going to have to go to bed with that, not me. So, yes, I love that. Right. We're not a believer until we want, or this is what we want for ourselves. And sometimes the interesting thing is we cool with that until it's our husband. So, we're cool with it until it is our husband. My grandmother said something to me, and she wasn't Muslim, but she said one thing to me. She said, he's not your man, he's God's man. Boop. That's what she said. And she was right. And I knew that. Not even deep down. Sometimes that thing is just at the surface. We know that. See, if he was my man, I could have stopped him. If he was my creation, I could have stopped him. I could have changed his mind. Guess what? When you marry someone day one, don't dare think that they're going to remain that same person and not evolve. They will. Now, whether it's good or bad, it's up to them. It's up to them. But not having the conversation about polygyny, shutting your husband down, thinking you have veto power and you can change his heart by having an attitude, by having a bad attitude, by telling him don't talk to me about it. Where does that work? Where does that work? And he might not be saying a word, but he's thinking about behavior. He's thinking about this mentality is raising my children. Is it healthy? Polygyny is not where you're going to find perfection. You're not going to find perfection in this life. And stop coming over to polygyny thinking that's where you'll find it. Because it will humble you, just like anything else. If you don't want to work on you, you'll find humility. If you don't try. I know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm confident that I know what I'm talking about because I've lived it. Keep saying what I want, and I'm not dealing, and I'm not going on, and I'll do that. You're making a dua, and you don't even realize it in arrogance. That's why we're told to watch what we say. I'll never deal with polygyny. I wish he would. I hope he does. I want to see it. I'll divorce him. I'm taking the kids. Careful. Watch yourself. Watch your mouth. Don't gatekeep your husband because he's not yours to gatekeep. I see Coach Nazir walk in and out of this place all the time. He's working all the time and he's going on the move. He's constantly moving with purpose. Every single day for 30 years I've been married to him, watched him do this. I know what I'm talking about. So he didn't do all of that to come over here and then go, yeah, let me drop this ball real quick. No. It doesn't mean he didn't make mistakes. It just means he does not belong to me. I don't make him move. Your husband doesn't belong to you. Don't make him move. See, we want this marionette thing where we're pulling the strings. This ain't no game. These men are not toys of ours. They're not our possessions. They're not. Now, I could do something with this notebook in front of me. I gatekeep this. This mine. I bought that notebook. I can ask people, where's my notebook? What'd you do with it? Don't use it, please. I can say that, but I can't run up on somebody and say, don't you dare marry my husband. And then he's sitting there wanting to marry them. I look like a fool. I've never done that because I'm under the understanding and know full well that my husband is an adult and he answers to his Lord, not me. That doesn't mean I agree with him all the time. That doesn't mean that I control him. That doesn't mean that I can sit here and not be educated. I can be educated by him. I'm educated by him all the time. And what I don't know, I'll ask him. I know who to go to. I know who to ask. I know who to ask. I know who has the answers and the resources. See, in many cases, we don't want to share our resources with our co-wife. We don't want him to have another wife because it'll pull from us. What if we're stopping our relationship, our marriage from becoming better? What if we're doing that? What if we're blocking something that Allah wants us to have to make us better, to make us look inside ourselves more? Allah knew that the way, and I love being able to talk about this now, the way that he got my attention was through my husband and my children, because nobody else mattered to me. I didn't have to deal with anybody else other than my parents, right? And they decided they were going to leave the chat very early in my infancy. However, I could be summoned by the two of them, my grandparents. But these people, as much as they loved me, they didn't understand Islam. It was foreign to them. So it was easier to say, okay, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, I'm Muslim now. This is how this goes. I put this first. So, but I love what Allah did because, and alhamdulillah, because he got my attention in such a beautifully violent way that I was able to look inward, do some work, and with Coach Nazir's encouragement, I became Coach Fatimah after a long time so that I could help others. But that couldn't happen if there wasn't a disruption there, because I had to turn to him more than I ever did before. And that made me a better woman. And then the people I love benefited from that better woman. It did not start out that way. It took a minute, okay? It took a minute, okay? It just did. But I'm glad it took the time and I was able to get out of my own way. But see, Coach Nyla was not in my way. I was in my way. I thought he was. And then I looked and said, oh, girl, you are in your own way. How dense can you be? Get out of your own way. Quit hurting yourself by your assumptions. And then at the end of it, it was freedom. So gatekeeping my husband or gatekeeping your husband won't help because it'll keep you stuck. It'll keep you stuck. And then you won't get to your healing. Your healing's just waiting for you to catch up to it. But we're so busy. We're so busy over here potentially creating these little fires and having these outbursts. And healing is going, will you hurry up? I'm just waiting for you. I'm just waiting for you. And we do talk about that more in our book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. And you can get that book at Let's Talk Polygamy.com for details, guys. If you pick it up, I'm going to take some questions before I close, but I'm going to run it back through really quickly, okay, guys? So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share this video, because sharing is caring. And also hit the notification bell if you've made it this far, because you want to be notified every time we upload and when we go live. We have so much information to share here. It's incredible. And if you want to connect with Coach Nazir, you can reach him at CoachNazir.com for details, and my awesome co-wife, Coach Nyla, at CoachNyla.com for details. They're two of the most amazing coaches I've met, and I met a lot of coaches in my life. I have, and I've learned so much from the two of them. Watch all our videos, guys. It's a lot. Give yourself some time, but make sure you don't discriminate, okay? Initial wives, don't just watch my videos. Watch Coach Nyla's videos. Women, ladies, watch Coach Nazir's videos. I learn from his videos. I learn from him all the time, but we learn from each other. So I invite you and encourage you to watch all the videos on our channels. And a lot of questions that you all have are answered right on our channel. So make sure that you, gatekeeping will turn him off completely. That part. Yeah, that's under that resentment. And absolutely. Because if you resent somebody, you're not going to want to do nothing else with them. I mean, you absolutely won't make time for that. So yes, resentment. They don't want that much attention from us. Our husbands' hearts are large. Don't underestimate that. That's just a fact. Every man is not qualified for polygyny. We've never said it once on here. Not every man is straight. Not every man is free. Not every man has good intentions. I mean, it's just, it should kind of go without saying, but I want to say that every man is not, he doesn't have the ability. And some men do, but they do need some guidance. And I love that Coach Nazir does have so much information here about that. And he can really get to the meat and potatoes of things, because he does not hold punches. He says what he got to say. You all know, if you know me, you know how I get down. I kind of do the same. And alhamdulillah, good job. Watch all of them. Yes, I love that. And I want to invite you all, to do that, because some people think there should be some allegiance as initial wives to me. Some subsequent wives think there should be some allegiance to Coach Nyla. And we've never said that. Just watch all of our videos. It's beneficial knowledge. Okay. Our husbands have big hearts. Don't underestimate that. You will sustain damage in your marriage if you continue to throw hammers at your marriage and create chaos and self-sabotage and hold your husband to these unrealistic standards. What do I mean? He's not going to talk to you 20 times a day. He's not going to come see you all day long, and he has more than one wife. He has to provide and protect and produce and love and lead, and he has so many hats to wear. And we're sharing our husbands with the world. We're not sharing with just one other wife or two other wives. Sometimes you'll go, oh, I want to hang out with him. Let's go get ice cream. And he's like, I have to go to Juma. We can't get ice cream at 12 and 1 o'clock. That's time to go worship. I'm not going to do that. And there should be no expectation of that. Juma, if you're new, if you don't know what that term is, that's the Islamic service we have every Friday. That men must go to. And Coach Nazir and our sons and our family every week, and nothing stands in the way of that. So my co-wife, Coach Nyla, and I don't go, you can't leave. You got to spend time with it. No, I'm in my home that I share with Coach Nazir right now, and he's very close by in the home that he shares with Coach Nyla. So we don't prevent the men in our family from doing things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded them to do. We don't stand in the way. So tonight when he comes in and then he leaves out tomorrow, I won't get in his way until you can't leave and you need to be here. And He has another wife. You got to go home, over there. That's a fact. But people want to get mad. You can get mad. But yeah, I'm going to read some comments. If you have a question, alhamdulillah, congratulations. 73 years. Congratulations on that. Many are denied that blessing. So congratulations on that. Okay, I'm going to try to, wait a minute, y'all. Hold up. I gotta be able to see it. So I gotta put my glasses on. Wait a minute. I'm looking at your comments. I'm still here with you. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at the comments in the chat. If you have questions for me, put question marks in front of the questions, please. Yeah, we have to trust in the color of Allah. Sometimes we want to trust in our ego. And then, we just say, I know I can trust in Allah, but I want to trust me because I got this. And you don't have anything but a bad attitude. Some women do want their husband around 24/7. I'm dead serious. They do. They do. And shout out to the husbands because they definitely don't want to be with us 24/7. I really, you look at men that retire and they're home all the time, or look at when COVID hit and couples were together all the time. It really tested their patience, their marriage. It tested so many things, and a lot of people got divorced after COVID was over. They couldn't get away from each other. Look at just for example, I remember when I lived in Konya in Turkey. I used to see this elderly man sitting on a bench. He had a cane. He would be fighting for his life trying to get to that bench. This was in front of our apartments. And I looked at him and I was like, he's out there at like clockwork. And I knew he was out there because he still needed to have purpose in life. Even at his old age, he had to be in his 80s, like his late 80s. And I'm sure he saw so much in life, but he would struggle because this was like on an incline. He would struggle to get to that bench from his apartment. But he needed to be out. He needed to watch people. He needed to have purpose. And he needed to struggle to get to that bench. Men need space. We all need space. But men have never, ever once, I've never heard one man ever say that he wanted to be around his wife 24/7. But some women feel like, I got to have my husband around me all the time because I can watch what he's doing. Because if I can watch what he's doing, I can control him. And then if he brings a polygyny or if he's looking at other women, I can watch that. And then it's extreme, but it happens. I'm going to look again through the chat. Again, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Okay, how long does it take? It's been 5 years and I'm still struggling. I'm going to just put this at the bottom so people can see it. Now, I won't leave it up there though, but what ends up happening is this. When we don't do the work, and the work is personal development and looking inside yourself, and I go into that more in my coaching program, and you can learn more at coachfatimah.com for details. When we don't look inside and we're looking for answers externally and for other people to maybe sometime, I'm not saying you're doing this, but to fix it for us instead of confronting what is uncomfortable first, then we get hemmed up. Yeah, we don't want to step out of our comfort zone, but let me tell you something, nothing grows inside of your comfort zone. Nothing. It can't. If we put, if you think of flowers that have to crawl and grow, they'll always try to break free and find the light. But when we are challenged with growth, we hide. We hide. And you notice the flowers that crawl toward the light get to see the sunshine and they get to live fully. But the things that are in darkness, now unless you're a mushroom, but the things that are in darkness, stay there. I love this quote. I don't remember where I heard it, but it's powerful. And it said, that if you say you're in a dark place, you know how people say, I'm in such a dark place. And somebody said, if you're in a dark place, turn the light on. So sometimes we got to turn the light on, and we're looking for our husbands and our children and our parents. We're looking and we're searching, and we think, when are they going to get in here and turn on this light? Now think about if you're in a dark place, guys, and your house is dark, how ridiculous we sound if we say, you know what, I can't turn this light on. I would wait for my husband to get here to turn it on so I can see. And then we're sitting there going, turn it on yourself. Or if you think about losing weight, I've never once, this is a real big secret, y'all, but I've never once thought, you know what, I need Coach Nazir to get over here and lose his weight for me. I wish he would hurry up. Yeah, he need to get on that. Now, if I said that you all would be able to be ready to send me to the padded room, people, right? Because I sound crazy. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm reading a question. I'm going to share it with you all. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Salam wa rahmatullah. This is a situation where it brought up polygyny several times before, so it's not new. I want to be secretive about it, but at what point in the process do you bring her in? Need a little bit more. Coach Nyla, I don't know if you're a husband or a wife, because sometimes our handles can't tell sometimes, but I remember I know that he does a lot of content here on YouTube about these things. Absolutely. One thing that he did is he didn't force my co-wife on me. I know some men will go, you know what, you need to be friends and you need to get over here and you better talk to her. And he didn't do that. He used to get compliments all the time from sisters in our community. They were like, I really like how he's doing this, because he's not forcing you all on each other. He's like taking time and going, you know what, this is going to take some time. These women need some time. Now, I wish I had talked to my co-wife a little bit sooner, because I had questions for her that I was asking Coach Nazir, and it's just like he's going to answer them directly and logically like a man, and she didn't do that. She had logic, but she had emotion in there, understanding, and things that a woman does, So she kind of handled me in a way that a wife would, that a mother would, that a sister would, see what I'm saying? So she said the things I needed to hear, because she knew what I was thinking, because she's a woman too. So where a man would say, it wasn't about that, and they leave it there. There's nothing wrong with it. That's how men talk. However, she said it wasn't about that. It was about all of you all. It was about a family. I looked at all of you, not just him. And she added these things that reassured me, and I went, oh, I get it now. It wasn't a separate thing, right? And he had the knowledge of that. However, he's going to talk like a man talks. He's not going to nurture me, sweetie and all that. He's never been that guy. He's not going to do that, because it's not in him to do as a man. This. No, it's not going to happen. But I did appreciate the space. And we keep talking about space here. Even though the topic is on gatekeeping your husband, we talk about space. That's my son. He's going to the masjid. So I'm waving. Y'all like, what are you waving at? Okay. So, alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to add this. I'm going to share it. Okay. Okay. I'm a husband. I'm asking for the first wife perspective. Would you appreciate being told just before the second marriage is set up, or when it's first been thought of? Both. So as a first wife, I wish I would have had a real conversation with my husband. Like, if I could go back, I would bring it up, get it on out the way. And then before it happened, because we're talking about night sharing, okay? I'm not talking about emotional and all of that. It's because the other wife is, that's when you start changing and having nights, splitting time, okay? So it's important for the subsequent marriage and initial marriage that the women know, okay, this is when, might as well, soon as you get married, okay, then we're going to start switching out time, sharing time, I should say, not switching it out, but sharing time, if that's what works for your family. Uh, Coach Nazir does a 24-hour cycle, so every 24 hours he switches out. Okay, he lives with us all the time, but he just does not spend nights here in our home every night. It's every other night. That does not work for every man. Okay, that's not a framework for every man. Some men have every week. Some men have every 2-3 days. I mean, it just depends on the needs of the marriages in the family. Coach Nadir said this many times. I don't know if you missed it or not, but he has such great content about this. And he's an incredible coach, and so is Coach Nyla. But that's a really, really good question. But for me, I would only want to know before it actually, the marriage was going to, before the nikah, or the marriage ceremony, um, just because of the nights. Even if I don't know the day of the nikah, you don't have to. But when are we going to start splitting the nights or sharing the nights, for a calendar's sake? Okay. And, my husband was always willing to give me whatever information I asked for, or whatever. But yeah, a conversation, he'll tell you, he will tell you, you don't have to tell her. However, you should, because when you don't, that the feelings of betrayal and not having trust, and she's going to be scared of you. She's going to be so scared of you, because she's going to be like, this is a whole nother guy. I don't even know you. Okay. So if you can prevent that, then why not? It's more difficult to try to reinvent the wheel after you do it. After you get married first, you ain't gonna tell it. No, no, no. You can. I mean, you're an adult. However, I would encourage you to have a conversation. But that's a really, really good question. You guys have asked some pretty good questions. Okay. Okay, so you rather know as late as possible. I'm referring to the process of when a man is in talks with second wife family. I'm trying to understand from a female perspective what's good timing. That's good timing is relative. So it depends on. Let me tell you what bad timing is. If your wife is pregnant and then you tell her you want to get another wife, you got to be careful with it. I mean, you can do that. I've seen brothers do that, and I've seen them regret it, because you're dealing with a woman that is in a fragile state, mentally, physically, emotionally. I mean, the body, hormonally, everything is going, so many different hormones going on. Um, a lot of men will wait until after babies are born. Some men will even wait till after that postpartum period, because they're like, I don't want to deal with that, because, again, it's a fragile time for a woman. However, knowing up into the wire, I mean, it's up to you. You know your wife, so, and sometimes you learn more about her after you get married. But it would be maybe very upsetting to tell her right before you get married. Like, I'm getting married this afternoon. Like, throwing that out there. Careful. I remember years ago, this one brother, it's up to you, brother, but this one brother got married, and he didn't think his first wife knew, and she found out. And I said, how in the heck? I asked her, I said, how do you, at the time, she's a friend of mine, but I said, how did you know he got married that day? He didn't tell you. She said he wore a suit. He never wears a suit. I said, she went to his nikah and caused a disruption. So he didn't know that she had figured it out because of the suit. It was just a suit, because he wasn't in the line of work to wear a suit. He was in he had a dirty kind of get your hands dirty kind of job. And when he pulled that suit out, she was like, "Oh, no, what are you up to?" And she had an idea where he would be, showed up there and showed out. She went off, and it went down in infamy, and they are not married anymore. Okay, that man is not even in polygyny anymore. It was that bad. So, I mean, I would err on the side of caution, only because if the exact day and time and all that stuff is known and people can't handle their emotions, that might be a recipe for disaster, and it might destroy the day, because you're allowed to have a peaceful marriage to another wife without it being disrupted by your initial wife. Or if it's a subsequent wife and you got a third or fourth wife, you're allowed to have a peaceful day. And I really want wives to understand that it's not our job to go over there and cause a disturbance. Because if somebody did that in your nikah or in your wedding, you'd be upset. Then it would be a problem. But only because of timeline and order of events. So it can be a problem over here with hers, because she should have known better. But you better not have a problem with my marriage, because mine was here first. There's so much privilege in that, it's not even funny. So just being mindful that you know, you want to, if you know your wife, see this one that I was talking about, he knew she would act up, so he didn't tell her, but the suit told on him. So, you know, that's the way it happened. And I hate that. And I did tell her about it. I said, you shouldn't have did that. Because all she did was make a donkey out of herself at the end of the day. That's what happened. Now you just the one that acted up, and now none of you are married to each other anymore. You know, and then your children hear about this bad behavior, and it stays with them. It stays with them. So yeah, that's a really good question. But good timing it depends on who you're married to. And I like what Coach Nazir said, you know, sometimes you don't really know what triggers or what trauma your wife or wives have had until you get to this point, to this crossroads. And then you do get married and all this stuff comes up and you're like, I didn't even know that was there. So finding out things before you marry again is so beneficial. But sometimes wives don't want to give up the information and don't want to talk about it. And then you got to make a decision as a man. Are you going to put your life on hold? I'll give you an example. One of my neighbors, she asked me a question. This was years ago. She's like, why now? Because we'd lived next door to them for over a decade. She said, why now? I said, when is a good time do you think he should have got married again? That's what I asked her. And if she was here with me now, she'd tell you that. And she was like, well, I don't know. I said, well, then how do you expect me to tell him when is a good time as a 30-some-year-old man when he should move on and be married in polygyny? So your why now question has no merit, because he's an adult and he can decide. And he doesn't know if he's going to live another day, another second, another year, another 10 years. When should he do this? When do you think would have been a good time? And she could not answer, because we can't really answer those questions, although we know it's not during pregnancy. That'll go up in smoke because there's so many hormones. It's not a good time when somebody's dying and they're dealing with death. There's so much I couldn't talk to my husband about, and he couldn't talk to me about, because my dad was dying. So within the 3rd year in polygyny, my dad died. Because I'm thinking this can't get much worse than it is. And nothing worse was really happening. It was just something new to me that I didn't like. And I said, oh my God, this can't get worse. Phone rang. Yeah, so around times where there's death, around times where there's, but having someone put restraints on you as a grown man and tell you what you can and cannot do, you have to make a decision as an adult and say, listen, you can't, you don't want nobody raising you in this. And saying, well, no, don't do it now. Well, no, you can't do it now. Can you do it in a year? Can you do it in 5 years? Do you want to be held to that? Because if you want to have children, and if your wives are of a certain age, let's say your second wife is 25, 26, 30 years old, and then your initial wife is saying, well, can you wait 5 years? And you're going, no, I really can't. No, you don't get to decide when I have children with my other wife. Nobody decided when my husband and I, Coach Nazir, had children. And I sure didn't get into his marriage with Coach Nyla and say, well, you know what, I think you should have children now. Yeah, hurry up. Do that. The man is grown. But that's a good question. I mean, I can imagine it. It's such an important question to ask. Okay. So I guess my wife said she would leave. If I deem it necessary to have another wife, I have considered her feelings for the past 8 years. I'm going to tell you something real quick. That's a long time. I'll give you an example. When Coach Nyla got married again, and it was the 15th year, that's when he decided to marry again. Let me tell you something. The sister told me. She said, Fatimah, that's a long time for him to wait. Woo! And it wasn't on his radar, as he says, although he wanted to do it. That didn't mean he didn't want to do it. It just didn't mean how. It just meant, how is that going to come together for him as an adult, as a man? And let me tell you something real quick. She said, that's such a long time. Woo! She said some brothers have married 1 year, they have a wife, and marry one the next. Or 1 month he's married, and the next month he marries a second wife. He can do it. It might be chaotic for him, it might not be. Allahu alam, Allah knows best. I don't know. But I know that is a long time. And it wasn't my job to ever tell him that, can you wait another 15? And then when he made me what, I absolutely not. Well, I hope I do. So yeah, 8 years. Yeah, that's a long time. Yes, if you deem it necessary. Yeah. She's going to have feelings. She's going to have feelings until the day she passes on. So change is scary because we don't know what's on the other side of it. But sometimes women, we notice we have to sit in discomfort, and we are upset because we're sitting inside our husband's decision and we don't like it. So I don't care if you wait 8 days or 8 months or another 8 years, she will always be sitting in your decision, and she's not going to like it. And then you have to decide whether you're going to put that part of your life on hold. And my heart is with her. However, I understand what you're saying because I'm married to a man in polygyny, and I have listened and watched his videos and sat next to him and watched him train and talk to people and change lives. Yeah, my co-wife and I have both done this. So how much more of your life you got left to live, brother? You don't know. Neither do I. I mean, I'm not telling you to turn your household upside down and shake it. I'm not telling you that, but I'm also not telling you to put this part of what you want to do on hold. And what I love that Coach Nazir does is he helps men like yourself get clarity on these things. You can learn more at CoachNazir.com for details. And I'm so serious because he coaches men that are serious about polygyny. Some men they love to hear about polygyny. They love it. But actually practicing it and being intentional and it being their lifestyle is a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother thing. It takes a lot of commitment, a lot of responsibility, so many things. So yeah, at the end of the day, a man will have to be a man. A woman likes to share her husband, but we're always sharing our husbands. We're sharing them with the world. I tell women that all the time. He ultimately has to make the decision and be firm in bearing a responsibility and facing the consequences. Yep. That's part of being grown is all about. Okay. Okay, it's not all about the man. What about the deen and your actions in front of Allah? All men here, sister, are not Muslim on our YouTube channel and our subscribers. But yes, for those that are putting Allah first, absolutely. That should go without saying. It should. It absolutely should. And that's why I said I'm not talking to everybody, because some men are not equipped. They're not responsible enough. They don't have commitment. They don't have all the bones in the body is lazy. And some men aren't straight heterosexual men. There's so many different negative things. And some men just want wives to say they have them. We know that. But we're not talking about the predators. And we're not talking about the people that don't care. We're talking about the ones that are good men that do care, that do want it to work and do put Allah first. And that, again, should go for men that are practicing Muslims without saying. And some of them have to find a way to get through it and understand that this is a massive responsibility. That's why I said I don't want to be one of those women that think I'm the man, I'm the leadership, and I got this, and I'll tell the man what to do. No. Yeah, he has to think about that even when he's not in polygyny. He has to think about that across the board. What are his actions in front of Allah? Whether he's single, whether he's in monogamy, whether he's in polygyny, he has to think about that, period. We all do. Inshallah. Yeah, and that's what I just said. Yeah, absolutely. We have to think about anything that we do. Yeah, he has to stand on his own. One thing I will tell you, a man has to stand on his own 2 feet. He can't stand on his wife's back. He can't. He can try, but he should be very careful doing that. And Coach Nazir will tell you that if he was here. Yes, and you would be concerned about treating your wives fairly. Any man that is in polygyny does care about that. But even if it is, it's in his eyesight and in his desire and in his actions. Life is not perfect. The measurable things are time and money. The measurable things are time and money. Absolutely. So we're still people. You're not going to have perfection here. You're not going to have perfection in this life. And you're definitely not going to. People want to come over to polygyny and they want their husbands to be perfect. He wasn't before it. He's not going to be, and neither are you. We're human beings. This is a what is that called? This standard that we sometimes hold our husbands to is unrealistic. Very judgy. Okay. All right, guys. I'm looking through the comments, but yes. Okay, I'm going to share this one. Do you think a direct, stern approach is better, or a slow, empathetic approach when relaying the news to her for the first time? There's pros and cons to both. I'm curious to what you value. You can be direct but not rude. you're still talking to women. Talking and having a conversation to a woman, it doesn't mean you're catering to her, because I've seen some men cater to their wives to their detriment. And it's, well, she's not ready for me to have kids, and she doesn't want me to get married right now, and she doesn't feel like I'm ready, and she. And if you do this, and if you consider every single feeling and every single thing, and you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, life will pass you by, and she will deem you weak because you're not making a decision. You're not making a choice on something you said you wanted to do. But that doesn't mean kick the door in and be rude, be yelling and all this stuff like that. Good old fashioned sitting down and having a conversation, but at the same time, women, let's allow ourselves to listen and be mature in having these conversations, because this is where you get your answers. And one of your answers might be that your husband might give you is, I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out. Because remember, he hasn't figured it out because he's never done it. In many cases, some men have, but in many cases, they don't know. They're still trying to figure this out too. You're supposed to have it and perfect it before you do it. No, he didn't perfect monogamy. Before he got married to you, he was not perfect. And he wanted him to come over here to polygyny and be absolutely perfect without fault. And then you can do it. Guess what? It'll be something else. It'll be something else. Because we'll find something else. But that's not our job, to weaponize mistakes. Like we don't make any. Right? And what I'm going to do, I thank you all so much for your great questions and comments, but I'm going to wrap up because I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening with my family. It is nighttime here for me and my family on the continent. Right, no one's perfect. Exactly. Yeah, no one's perfect. I was reading a comment, but I'm still here with y'all. So, all right. Don't gatekeep your husband because it won't help. Have a conversation that can be honest but not hostile. Okay. Practice courageous communication. That's what we call it here on OPR, in our channel and in our content. Courageous communication. Doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be rude. It should not be. And listen more than you talk. Because sometimes our husbands want to talk to us and we shut them down. And then when they don't want to open up, we go, why aren't you opening up? Yeah, every time I open my mouth, you shut me down. I can't say nothing to you. And that's what happens. Thank you for your support, you guys. Comment, like, subscribe, share this video because sharing is caring. You all know. And also hit the notification bell, guys. You're always going to want to know when we are uploading anything, okay? Because this stuff that we talk about, these issues that we talk about, are very important. This is not about surviving polygyny. It's about thriving in it. Okay, and polygyny is not about breaking families. It's about expanding family. Okay, and that doesn't happen overnight, right? But committing to the success of your marriage, whether you're in monogamy or polygyny, is important. And we talk about all of that in our book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. And you guys can pick up your book at letstalkpolygamy.com. Okay, so I'm going to end this live. Thank you for your love and your du'as and showing up here and your comments and your likes and your subscribing to our channel. And if you're over on IG or you go to IG, it's Outstanding Relationships because the rest was too long. So, Outstanding Relationships. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm Coach Fatimah, of course, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships. And I'm going to leave you with some GLC. Make sure you're growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll make sure that I come back soon. And we're going to keep the conversation going, okay? I'm going to give you guys salams. Go hug your family. Go hug your spouses, guys. Spouses. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Enjoy your morning. Enjoy your evening if you're on this side of the world. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.